Donald Trump just saved drivers from New York's biggest scam. Good evening, folks. Tonight, we've got a massive win for freedom, for drivers, for small businesses, and for common sense. Because President Trump has hopefully just put the final nail in the coffin of New York's disastrous congestion pricing scheme. That's right, the radical left's war on drivers just hit a roadblock, and it's called MAGA. The Trump administration just withdrew federal approval for the congestion pricing plan in New York City, effectively ending it. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy called this plan exactly what it is, backwards and unfair. And he's right. Now, let's be clear. This congestion pricing scam was never about reducing traffic. It was never about helping working Americans. It was a blatant cash grab, plain and simple. Democrat elites in New York wanted to slap drivers with a tax of up to $27 a day per vehicle just for the privilege of driving into their own city. And why? I'll tell you why. To bail out the black hole that is the MTA, a transit system so corrupt and mismanaged it makes California's high-speed rail look like a well-oiled machine. After all, New Yorkers and anyone who dares drive into Manhattan, they've already paid for these roads many times over through their taxes. But greedy Democrats, being the tax-hungry bureaucrats that they are, decided that wasn't enough. No, they wanted more. They wanted another toll, another tax, another way to punish anyone who dares to drive instead of hopping on their unreliable, crime-ridden subway system. And guess who gets hit hardest? Not the wealthy liberals in their fancy Manhattan high-rises. Nope. This was a direct hit on the middle class, the small business owner, the delivery driver, the plumber from New Jersey, the mom driving her kids to the city for a doctor's appointment. It's not about traffic. It's about control. Because let's not forget what's really behind all of this. The radical left's Green New Deal. They don't want you in your car. They don't want you independent. They want you stuck, crammed into a subway car, waiting for a bus, totally dependent on their government-run, taxpayer-funded hellscape of a transit system. And why? Because they bought into the biggest hoax of the century, the so-called climate crisis. Let's be real, folks. This entire thing was a sham. The Democrats and their media lapdogs want you to believe that cars are destroying the planet, that if we all don't start riding bicycles to work, the world is going to end in 10 years. It's a lie. No matter what Al Gore and Greta Thunberg say. And you know what's worse? While New York's politicians are busy pushing this so-called crisis, guess what they're not focused on? Crime, education, immigration. You know, the real issues affecting everyday Americans. And that, folks, is textbook anarcho-tyranny. And what does that even mean? It means they refuse to enforce the law when it comes to actual crime, when it comes to violent thugs, robbing stores, terrorizing subway riders, attacking cops. But when it comes to you, the working men and women of this country, they bring the hammer down hard. They ignore the criminals, but they'll happily tax you into oblivion for the crime of driving to work. And that is exactly why President Trump stepped in and shut this scam down. He made it clear, New York's war on drivers is over. He made it clear, America stands for freedom, not bureaucratic overreach. And he made it clear, working men and women should not be punished to pay for the Democrats' incompetence. And now, the leftist elites are losing their minds. The MTA is scrambling. Governor Kathy Hochul is threatening to sue as she rails out, quote, "This is an attack on our sovereign identity and independence." And the lapdog mainstream media, oh, they're in full meltdown mode too, crying about lost transit funding and climate goals. Well, here's something they won't tell you. New York's roads belong to the people, not the bureaucrats. The streets were built for drivers, for workers, for families, not for greedy politicians looking to line their pockets with toll revenue. And thanks to President Trump, they're staying that way. So, America, this is a win. The radical left tried to take away your right to drive, and Trump said no. This is what leadership looks like. This is what putting America first looks like. Congestion pricing is done. Common sense has won, and the war on drivers, it just suffered a massive defeat. This is Neo News Network. Good day.